Here we go, folks. We're at the Welcome Center at the Amicalola State Park. Got to get in here and get our tag and start our hike tomorrow. So let's go do what we got to do. All right, folks, this is where it all begins for me. It's my first white blaze, and we are standing just below the summit of Max Patch. So I'm going to be doing a flip-flop starting today, which is February the 21st, and heading towards Maine. That's the plan. So I got a lot of snow on the ground, probably a couple inches to contend with. No big deal. And it's actually fairly warm. I'd say it's in the high 20s, but I think it's going to be over 40 today. So not too bad. I had some troubles getting up here. Me and my wife, the intent was she was going to drive me up to Max Patch parking lot. Didn't happen. The roads are just too bad. So got out about a mile and a half early, or short of Max Patch, and started walking. And ultimately, someone came and a shuttle driver came and picked me up, and she took me as far as she could. She couldn't make it either. There was a Forest Service ranger from Tennessee in his service truck who finally picked me up and took me the rest of the way. So, and I got word from my wife that she ultimately was able to get back on a good road, and she's headed back. So everything is good, and everybody's safe, and that's very encouraging. So I'm headed up to the top of Max Patch, just like that. I go from the comforts of civilization, and I'm now living in the woods, if you will. So it's going to be fun. I'll fill you in on all the whys and wheres and all that sort of stuff. The reason for being and all that sort of stuff as we make it down the trail. I'm going to try to make some miles today. I'm certainly starting a good bit later than I intended to. It's already probably 9:30 in the morning on Saturday, February 22nd. So we'll see you as we get further up trail. Definitely as we get to the top of Max Patch. Have a good one. Folks, this is Max Patch. It's 20 something, but I can tell you I'm sweating. It's a good little hike. So where we're headed, our first mission is Hot Springs. Hot Springs is 20 miles from where I'm standing right now. And yeah, I'm not doing 20 miles today, that's for sure. The snow is pretty slow, but I do hope to make as many miles as I possibly can. My goal is to be in Hot Springs by fairly early in the morning, around 10 o'clock. So I'd like to get 14 miles today if possible, but I'm not sure how much the snow might slow my pace down. But everything's going well so far. My goal here, I guess I should share why Max Patch is a starting place. First of all, you saw the views. It's a very iconic location in the southern Appalachians, and I felt like it's a good place to start. Secondly, the majority of people who will be going northbound will be starting within the next week, and they start from Georgia. So Georgia's about Springer Mountain, Georgia is about 250 miles south of where I'm standing. Of course, you got to cross all that terrain, which is the Smokies. You see in the far distance, that's the Smokies. And you go through Fontana Dam, on into the NOC, Franklin, North Carolina, into Georgia. Georgia's about 78 miles yet, on into Springer Mountain. So I'm about 250 miles ahead of those folks. And the goal of that was not to be in a position where I'm competing for campsites and struggling with a lot of folks around. So they'll catch me, I promise you. I'm not the fastest. There'll be some folks that'll catch me, but it'll take them probably about a month to do so. But yeah, so that's the goal. So that's the reason I started in Hot Springs. And my intent, if I am so fortunate to make it to Maine, is to flip and come back to Hot Springs, of course, and then go south back to Georgia where we live. I live in Georgia, so I'm hoping that'll provide some type of gravitational pull or something like that, some added motivation to finish up these last 250 miles back to Georgia. But got a lot of miles ahead of me yet, and a lot to do. So I'm gonna get busy with it. I'll check back in with you a little bit further down the trail. The green tunnel is today a white tunnel. It's beautiful. It's just it's kind of hard walking. I'm happy that other people have already walked it, and if you step in their tracks, it's not as bad. Anyway, making progress. It's all good. Making good progress today. I guess one positive from hiking in the winter time is all the leaves are off the trees, so you get some views that you probably otherwise wouldn't get. So it's real pretty today. So I am about I don't know, maybe 7 miles in. The miles have been pretty slow, to be honest with you. Unfortunately, I hadn't made the pace I wanted to. Well, particularly early on, the snow was pretty deep. There were some places where the snow itself came up to probably my knees, and you're just like post-holing, you know, with every step, and it's really slow. But I'm at least now on the side of a mountain where it appears that the snow is kind of melted off. It's making things a bit faster. So I've got about 3 miles further to the top of Bluff Mountain. Bluff Mountain is the tallest peak that I'll be climbing today, and I'm not gonna stop there, but the point of it is, once I get over that peak, it's a lot of downhill. So I look forward to the downhill, and I should be able to make some pretty good time. So I want to go a good bit further yet today before dark. I might even hike into the dark. I'm just trying to make up some time that I had planned, but we'll see what we're able to accomplish. So let's get back to digging. Hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you down the trail. Okay. We want to get past Garin Flow Gap today, which is about 7 more miles. I'd like to get close to about 8 more miles today if I can. This is Walnut Mountain Shelter. Definitely not one of the newer shelters on the trail for sure. This one's really old. I mean, like probably 70, 80 years old. And the shelter's pretty much all log frame, and most people honestly wouldn't stay in this shelter unless it was an emergency. And but you know, it is nice to know that you have that option if you so choose to make a stop. So my goal is to head downhill, mostly downhill from here to get to Garin Flow Gap, and then I do have one climb yet. I've got about 2 miles now to get to up in to the top of Bluff Mountain. Almost forgot the name of the mountain, so I got to get to the top of that mountain. That's a couple of miles from here, and once I get to that, then again, a lot of it's going to be a lot of downhill, and I should be able to make some time as long as, you know, we don't have a ton of snow on the downhill. As you can see, I'm still facing a lot of snow, and this is kind of what I've been dealing with most of the day, which definitely slowed my plans, but it's okay. We're making good progress, and I anticipate getting, you know, within spitting distance of hot springs for tomorrow. So anyway, that's my update. I just stopped here for just a couple of minutes to grab a little something to eat and rest, take the pack off, and ultimately push on. So hope everybody's having a great day, and we'll see you further down the trail. All right, folks, it's just about dark, and I've got my tent pretty much set and a gear explosion going on there. I've already heated up me some fettuccine Alfredo. And look forward to that. Nothing like a warm meal on a very cold night. We're dipping down in the 20s, no doubt about it. And we are I did, I guess, an end of night recap. Well, I'll just go ahead and finish this one out for today. It's really a good first day. Had a total of 14.2 miles. Of course, started the hike on Max Patch, and as it stands right now, I'm a little less than 6 miles on into Hot Springs. So pretty good day, you know, for day one. And I'm pleased with the success that I've had today, but it's really been a challenge with all the snow that I've had to kind of dig through, and now I've gotten down on a little bit lower elevations. There's you know, less snow on the ground, just a little bit here and there. But all in all, a good day, tiring day. And I look forward to getting to this very, very warm sleeping bag, and I'll finish up my dinner first, of course, and I plan on get up tomorrow and head on into Hot Springs. Thanks for joining along, and we'll see y'all in the morning.
Early the next morning.
Good morning, everybody. What a wonderful night's sleep I did not have. I don't know if it's possible to lay in a tent for 10 hours and not sleep at all. Trust me, it is. Not complaining. It was a little bit cold. I stayed probably warm enough. I just couldn't seem to get comfortable, I guess. It's going to take a little while. So today I'm 5.8 miles north of, 5.8 miles south of Hot Springs. So I'm looking forward to getting into Hot Springs. It's Sunday morning, and you know, the restaurant, I think the main restaurant there in Hot Springs is completely closed today, but I'll find plenty of food, I'm sure. But I can't get checked into the hostel officially until 12, but I think they'll let me get in there a little earlier than that. So I told them I could be there probably as early as 10. So I'm not in a huge hurry this morning. Not a lot of miles to do. Just need to pack everything up. It'll take me a little while. Maybe make some food here for breakfast, and then start heading into Hot Springs. So yeah, should be fun. I'll give you the full breakdown and the plan and the overview of Hot Springs just a little bit later. Have a great morning. What's for breakfast? We have an Adventure Meals breakfast skillet. It has shredded potatoes and scrambled eggs and mixed with pork sausage, peppers, and onions. So I've had this before and I like it a lot. So this is pretty good. Pretty good eating for the trail. That should be okay. Well, we are getting a little bit of a sunrise over Hot Springs. Beautiful. Come across a little cemetery. I guess a couple of settlers evidently lived up here. This is the wife, Eva Grace, born 1882, died in 1940, absent, not dead. Okay, much older style stone is in her. I presume this is probably her husband. That's Eva Gragg, not Grace, I'm sorry. And then her husband, George Gragg, who was born 1881 and died in 66, departed but not forgotten. Okay. All right, interesting. Just up here in the middle of the woods. One of the first views of Hot Springs. Let me zoom in. There we go. That's the French Broad River, of course, the one that pummeled the Asheville area. Also pretty much hammered this area as well. We'll get a closer look no further down the trail. About our best view looking down upon Hot Springs, North Carolina, United States of America. There's the French Broad River. I talked about earlier the impact that this city had, and I hate to say it's overlooked, but it seemed like Asheville, Swannanoa, they got really pounded. Not taking anything away from them, but some of the smaller towns really didn't get a lot of the same type of attention, I would say, and Hot Springs is one of those I'd put in that category. This is probably a good time for me to share with you kind of my secondary goals, if you will, for starting my hike at Max Patch, coming in here to Hot Springs. I gotta watch my step because this trail's pretty muddy. As I was stating, that the town itself and a lot of these trail towns are so highly dependent on hikers. In fact, the Appalachian Trail here in Hot Springs runs right down the center of town. And you'll see that in just a handful of towns all the way up the East Coast, but not so many. So you can bet wherever that's happening that, they truly are dependent on the traffic that comes through here, the hostels, the shuttle drivers, the restaurants. So for me to start my hike, flip-flop hike, further north as you typically would, like in West Virginia, it would just bypass all this and I would have to come back to it later. These people need money now, right? And they have really worked, and I'm hoping we don't even see any signs today of the devastation that happened to them here, which was primarily a lot of mud, and as the river overflowed and all the businesses right in the middle of the town where the river flows by, they were all flooded out. A lot of that stuff had to be, cleaned up, in some cases refurbished or rebuilt. And a lot of that work has happened all in really quickly in anticipation of the hiking season, which really kicks off around March the 1st. So I wanted to do my part, and I love food, you know that. So if I can spend more money in their restaurants, stay at their hostels, use the shuttle services where possible, then that's what I'm going to do. And I'll do that all the way up the trail, but my primary focus, and it might even come, you'll probably see in Irwin that it might even appear a little excessive, but that's okay. These people need the cash, and I'm willing to spend it, and it honestly, it makes my hike that much easier too. You're right. So I'm not sleeping on the ground like I did last night, and I'm not eating dehydrated meals like I did this morning, and it just simply makes things easier for me too. So I'm really happy to do it. So that's really my goal. That's my plan. I mean, the focus I'll have will be on Hot Springs first, Irwin, Tennessee, which they got hit really hard too, Roan Mountain, Tennessee, and then finally Damascus, Virginia. And I know there's other towns that were impacted, but those are the ones that were impacted the most, where the Appalachian Trail runs through. So that's my plan. That's my secondary plan. Of course, the primary goal here is to hike to Katahdin, Maine, and then flip back to Max Patch and go south. So that's what I really am here to do, and that's what I intend to do. But if I can do a little good along the way, that's great too, right? So we're getting close to town. I'm feeling some town food happening pretty soon. So I look forward to getting down the bank, and I will share with you at that point a little bit more about the town. Have a great morning, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, folks, I'm only about a half a mile from town food, and you know what that means. Slingshot engaged.
Slingshot engaged.
All right. Welcome to Hot Springs, everybody. We have arrived. Typically, I'd say most often, if someone is through hiking or even section hiking, need a place to stay, they would have typically stayed at Laughing Heart Hostel, which is the hostel that you see right there. Been around for years and years and years and years. Unfortunately, it's now closed. I think it's under brand new ownership. There's a Laughing Heart Hostel here, and then back behind it on the hill, there's a pretty large mansion kind of place, older home that served as, I guess, more of a bed and breakfast kind of thing. And they were both bought out, and not really sure what the future plans are. I would assume something similar, just under new ownership. So let's get on into town. As I said, folks, the Appalachian Trail, I'm actually walking on the Appalachian Trail right now on the sidewalk going through Hot Springs. It's a cool little town. It's small, but it offers stuff, I think, for the folks that live here, a pretty good living. This right here is the Smoky Mountain Diner, which is probably the best place to eat here in town. It's Sunday, so they're closed. I don't blame them for that. So there's other places, however, and who knows, before I leave tomorrow, I might come back to the Smoky Mountain Diner for some breakfast. Yeah, so I talked about fact that the Laughing Heart Hostel up on the hill is unfortunately closed right now, and the options for hostels dwindled a little bit, but it'll help them because it'll give them more business for sure, more than they've seen in a long time. I'm sure that's a good thing for them. So there is the Appalachian Trailer. It's actually a trailer that's been converted to a hostel. And then there's also Elmer's, which is where I'm staying. Elmer's also might come up as Sunny Bank Inn, I think. They serve as a bed and breakfast and also serve as a hostel for hikers, so that's great. So I'm gonna go ahead and get checked in, set down my bag, and go try to find some of that town food I've been talking about. Well, with the diner closed, my options were kind of limited and I was kind of hungry, so I stopped at the Hillbilly Market and Deli. You can get pizza here, cheeseburgers, chicken sandwiches, stuff like that. It's a pretty cool little store. So what I ended up getting is a cheeseburger and some chips, and washing it down with an RC Cola. What else? So my plans have expanded a little bit today. So I checked in at Elmer's, as you saw. Real cool place. Got the place is completely historical. It's was built in 1870. Earl Schaefer was one of the first. Well, actually, he worked to develop the entire Appalachian Trail. He was one of the founding guys who pulled that together. But also, he was the first one who actually hiked the Appalachian Trail in 1948. In 1948, when he was doing his Appalachian Trail through hike, he stayed over at Elmer's. Kind of crazy to think about it. But anyway, my plans have changed for today, for sure. I've only done 5.8, let's call it 6 miles today. So it's a short day and I don't want to waste really great weather. So I'm going to get a shuttle that's going to take me up to Tanyard Gap, which is 6 miles north, and then I'll walk back to Hot Springs and stay, and then I'll go back to Tanyard Gap this afternoon. But it'll allow me to get some six quick miles in this afternoon as well. So I'll bring you more when we get started on that event. Have a great morning. We'll talk to you soon. What a busy place this is. Where's all these people going? I don't know. So I asked one of the locals, you know, what is going on with all this traffic? I've never seen so much traffic come through Hot Springs. He explained that this was folks coming from the west on Interstate 40. Of course, Interstate 40 has been closed since September. Hurricane Helene, specifically the Pigeon River, flowed up over the interstate and washed out about half of the interstate. And the interstate's been closed since last September. So that traffic has found a way through the mountains and then over into Hot Springs. And then you can pick up I-26 not too far from here and back into Asheville. So it's probably on the map shows as the shorter way to get there. But it's probably not faster because it's slow country roads getting through these mountains. But anyway, that explains why there's so much traffic. Stretch limo Jeep. Gotta get me one of them. So this is a quick peek at the inside of Elmer's. This is kind of a congregational room. You have a couple of heaters here. Very warm and cozy in here. But you can look at this old place and some of the beautiful woodwork that's going on here. I'll take you upstairs to show you my room. Although I've been in it for a couple hours, so you can imagine that it's not pristine. I'll give you a warning. We have rooms, and it's all down through here, and a bathroom down there. This gives you an example of a room. My rooms over here on the other side. Again, Earl Schaefer was one of the founders of the Appalachian Trail, but in terms of designing and everything else. And he thru hiked the Appalachian Trail twice. I believe he was the first person to ever thru hike the Appalachian Trail, but I might be wrong about that. And he slept in this room both in 1948, and he did it again 50 years later, 1998. So, pretty cool. This is the Earl Schaefer room. And my room is next door to the Earl Schaefer room. It's set up for two. I got the bigger bed, and I've already kind of made myself comfortable if I stayed. I've already kind of blown out my back. I'm getting some clothes washed, took a shower, and it is set up for two. And if another thru hiker shows up, they could stay in this room, but there's a number of rooms, so I'm not sure that they would do that. So my guess is this will be a private room for me. It's very nice, very comfortable, and I'm glad I chose this place. So my plans changed yet again since this afternoon. In the previous message, I stated that I was going to go ahead and get a shuttle ride from here, go up to Tanyard Gap, which is about 6 miles, and then hike south back to Hot Springs, just to make use of this beautiful day, because I've only hiked, about 6 miles today so far. So it has now turned into a Nero situation. You'll hear people say they take a zero, which means they hike no miles. Nero typically means you're going into a town and you're hiking maybe less than 10 miles. So it's not a zero, it's a near zero. So they call it a Nero. It's just lingo that people use on the trail. So what happened was there was a wreck, and it has blocked the road, and traffic is backed up for a couple of miles now. So it's kind of getting late. It's going to be hard to get up there. Who knows when exactly I'll be able to get up there and then get back. So rather than push it, I'm just going to hike out of here tomorrow. And tomorrow, the Smoky Mountain Diner will be open. I believe it opens at 6, and I'll go over there and maybe grab some biscuits and gravy and hit the road. So that's the plan. I may have to try to make those miles up to stick to my plan as I get into Irwin. A little bit further each day we'll do it. But yeah, I look forward to it. So that's the plan. That's kind of what the status is. Not a lot much more to share at this point, because all the restaurants, again, because of the damage, and we'll walk straight through town in the morning so I can show some of that to you, but the damage from the hurricane really they had like 6 restaurants, they were telling me. Most of them were down next to the river, and as the hurricane waters rose off the French Broad River, 5 of those restaurants are now closed. So really the only restaurant that's available to us now is the Smoky Mountain Diner, which is closed today because it's Sunday. So tomorrow I hope to go there. In fact, I plan to go there, and I'll just walk across the street, have a nice breakfast, and head north up the trail. So that's the plan. I appreciate y'all following along, and I'll keep you posted as new things happen. So look forward to talking to you tomorrow.